Good evening and welcome to DSA UAE's first webinar. My name is Anka Marina and I'm currently the Association's Operations Manager, and today I'll be facilitating the present webinar for you. Thank you for taking time and attending our today's session, and we hope you'll find it of benefit to learn more about our association, to understand how DSA UAE took shape over time since its foundation in 2012, and discuss about our local and regional mission. Today, you will get to know our team members and the board and get the chance to address your questions live to our industry experts. Through organizing this webinar, DSA UAE has the main objective to basically communicate about its presence in the market, to promote the mission and vision we stand for, along with the ethics that the direct selling industry requires. We will stress on the benefits of collaborating together for a better industry and identify the needs of the current marketplace, especially after the pandemic changes that we have all been through. We won't tackle the COVID situation in depth because I'm sure everyone else did before, but we will need to acknowledge that it did have an impact worldwide, and the truth is that it became unavoidable not to speak about it. Now, we live in a time of change and we'll have to adapt to a future new normal, which is still shaping. So the good news is that digitally, DSA UAE can reach the entire region, and with this, we hope to provide all the support and information needed. Before starting the agenda, I would like to take a few minutes to explain the functionality of the software and how to interact with us over Zoho Showtime. The present webinar is recorded and it will be published on our website in the next coming days. On average, we will spend about an hour and a half together today, where we hope we can cover the main information you should have about DSA UAE. So as seen on the screen, on the right side, you will find the speaker's video, the current slides presented to you, as well as the entire presentation. The slide marked with the green highlighted box will indicate where the speaker is at. And if you'd like to go back to a previously presented slide, you can do this by navigating through the presentation. On the left side, you can interact with us by clicking on the question tab and address your questions live. I will try to answer several questions during the presentation, but we'll make sure that the most important ones will be answered live by our industry experts in our Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Don't worry if we don't have time for all the questions. After the session is over, I'll try to reply to everyone. So you can also write an email in the future at info@dsauae.ae, and I will assist you on those as well. If you would like to, we would like to hear from you today, so we will have several poll questions during the session where you will be invited to answer or express your opinions. And the last resource, there's a tab on the left side which allows you to download several files we uploaded for you, and you can access them by clicking on the Handouts tab, also found on the left side. Your microphones will be muted during the session so we can avoid interruptions. Therefore, if a question would like to be addressed, please do so in the chat box. We also have some technical assistance if required, but we'll make sure the recording of the webinar is available on the website for everyone. That will happen after the session. Thank you so much for your attention. So let us start our webinar by having a quick look at the agenda for today, where we will introduce our team members and cover the following topics that we believe are the most important ones when it comes to learning about our association. We will have a brief look at how DSA UAE has formed in 2012. We will discuss the global ecosystem of the industry that we are all part in, the importance and benefits of being led by the World Federation of Direct Selling Associations, and we will inform you about our local major government entities which we're associated with locally. And least but not last, probably the most important tool we all get guided by, we will discuss the importance of the Code of Ethics. Before introducing our first speaker, I would like to invite you to share with us what direct selling represents to you as a leader. So as mentioned, we are here today to address your inquiries to our board, but also we want to hear from you too. So take a minute to answer the question by clicking on the green ribbon, which you just seen on the screen. And we'll take 1 minute for everyone to answer. Then the results will be shared with everyone in a moment. Thank you. Let's see the results. I will share it with everyone. So very interesting. I'm glad that the respondents reported that direct selling for them, it's a way of life. I hope everyone can see the answers. It is important to know your opinions on this and what is your vision on the industry. So thank you so much for answering. We will start our today's session by inviting our association founder and honorary member of the board, Mr. Puria Montaseri. He will address his vision on the industry insights and the history of our DSA. Puria is the executive director of IDSEI, which stands for International Direct Selling Educational Institute, headquartered in the US, and the founding member of DSA UAE. His vast experience and massive contributions paved the way for many other aspiring direct sellers in the same industry. In 2008, he founded DSA in Dubai, organized the first international direct selling festival in the region, inaugurated by Director General of the Ministry of Economy in the UAE, that has substantially caught the interest of industry leaders to eye Dubai as a market expansion. Further, Puria has established relationships with WFDSA, with the DSA of the UK, Malaysia DSA, and grabbed the attention of many others by his success story. Through this achievement, Puria has been providing opportunity for people in the region to access knowledge in direct selling through education and awareness. Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Puria. I will hand over to you now.
Thank you, Marina. Appreciate it. Hi, everyone. It's unfortunate that I cannot see your faces, but I can see we have amazing number of attendees, and I'm excited to see some very familiar faces, names in the attendee list. And it's yet alone another reminder of how long we've been engaged with this endeavor. So first of all, I'd like to thank Marina. It's a lot of work behind the scene to put a webinar together. I've never knew. I've attended few. I'm sure you all have done, and I had no idea how much work it takes to put something like this together. And before I start, I would like to also acknowledge the very small and effective team. And today, I have the pleasure of basically introducing all of them to you, who have been a significant contributor to the DSA. So the team of three that you are going to basically have the pleasure of hearing their talk. Ali, who basically gave birth to the new vision of the DSA and acted as the General Secretary for a significant period of time in a short span of Direct Selling Association's life period. And Mr. Omar, who's been definitely a game changer, and his leadership definitely took the DSA to new heights. And Mr. Salim, who I just realized when I started looking back at kind of first engagement that we had, or first seeding of the idea of the DSA, himself and his team company been always part of it, and it goes almost back to 12, 13 years ago. So my promise to you is everything we're here to discuss, it somehow is pragmatically and realistically related to your journey. Not everybody here is direct seller specifically, and obviously the role of DSA is to engage with all the stakeholders of the direct selling industry, and it goes very much beyond the small circle and the intimate circle, and sometimes engages government bodies, media, and anybody who basically comes in contact and somehow interacts with the direct selling industry. And yet alone, our conversation today will be directly relevant to everybody who's present today or interacts with the direct selling industry. And this has been always my message, that direct selling has way more to offer, and the circle basically expands beyond the distributor and the company and the product or the association. So look out basically and try to make the link between what we have to offer today and your very realistic journey in the direct selling industry. I've been always the person who calls out the elephant in the room, and obviously the elephant in the room today is the pandemic we're all dealing with. We're all getting used to our masks and our hand sanitizers, but at the same time, there's significant changes happening and shifts happening globally, both in society and economy. And direct selling is in a very unique position because direct selling, it's an industry, so it relates to economy, and it's somehow a social interaction. It's a community as much as it's a business. So direct selling basically gets affected almost the most with what's happening, both in a positive way and negative way. And I'm here to maybe help us to see the glass half full. And the very webinar we have here, it's a testament that the glass is always half full. I mean, I would definitely prefer to see your faces and interact with you directly, person in person. But hey, this is not still too bad. We're at the convenience of our houses, and we can connect with each other at a very efficient way. So there is a half full. And the half full with the direct selling industry is basically the way it creates way for people to interact and have an opportunity that they can both benefit from and offer to others. Pay attention to this dynamic, because it's not only you who benefits from direct selling as an opportunity. You have now something that you can offer to the greater, basically, community. And today more than ever, trust me, today more than ever, our community needs to be uplifted by hearing there are more opportunities that they could ever imagine before. Today, you are hearing globally about layoffs and people not having work, or basically not being very optimistic necessarily with the next few months ahead, or not being sure. And you know, direct selling is there not as a rescue, but definitely as a tool to uplift people and again give them an opportunity to create communities, create opportunities, get together, and basically build a brighter future. So I've been always an advocate of direct selling industry as a very, very unique platform to give people opportunity, to provide space for people to learn and interact, expand their network, and the list is really long. But I've been never so keen in making sure everybody is aware of the opportunity at hand, because it wasn't necessarily needed. It was something people could enjoy, but it wasn't the only way. But today, I may not be in the position from an economic perspective or from a society perspective to know where we stand, but I'm sure we're on the top of the list of vehicle that can provide hope and opportunity for people. So this is very, very important. Allow me to share some numbers with you to kind of confirm the theory here. In 2008, we all saw a global recession, and where most industries were affected negatively. I have a chart in front of me that shows the direct selling has grown. And since then, the direct selling carried on growing. In fact, the direct selling has forever has grown. I think there has been only a small 1 or 2 years that we kind of had plateau, but this is really unique because not many industries been able to constantly show growth year in and year out. Just let me basically give you the numbers for the last few years. So in 2012, the industry grew from 149 billion to 160 billion. And it carried on to 170, 182, to up to 2015. My statistics are a little old, but I think we're in the range of $200 billion, if I'm not mistaken here. So this is a proof on the theory that direct selling would always do well in the time that people need it the most. So I think this is one of those times. And before my time runs out, allow me to give you a quick background of where we came from and what we are. Direct Selling Association of UAE is very, very young. I mean, you might hear the official numbers or dates that we've been around from 2012. We've been officially inaugurated in 2012 because we've been blessed and lucky that Dubai facilitated existence of associations, and basically we've been officially formalized and legalized under Chamber of Commerce. But keep in mind, Direct Selling Association was very much formed long before that, right about 2008. So we've been around for about a decade or more, and we've been through significant number of milestones. I mean, today this webinar is one of those milestones, in my opinion, but we've been around for well over 10 years, but yet alone the Direct Selling Association is very, very young. And the direct selling industry in UAE is very young. You can trace back direct selling or network marketing in UAE up to 20 even years ago. I think companies like A1 been here and been present in this market, but we've never had a significant growth up to recent years. And I do still think we are very, very young. And I do still think that there is a long way to go for the industry. And this is where exactly connects to you and where you stand. This offers a lot of opportunities for us who basically live in this region. And basically, it's a wind in the right direction. Let me share one more thing that is very exciting. When I started encouraging the existing companies to come together and form the DSA, right around 2008 or maybe before that, I remember that China wasn't in our statistics. And when I was sharing the statistics globally to kind of draw a picture of where we could be in the future, direct selling and network marketing was almost not legalized in China. You could say it was banned. And though there were few companies, but they were not officially operating in China. And today I can see China just about this year or last year surpassed United States. United States with $35 billion sales being the number one country in the scene for maybe a century. But China basically started legalizing or legislating direct selling some few years ago. And I could see the predictions and number were around $5 billion at that time, after a few years that China opened its door to direct selling. And today, China has hit $35 billion and slightly surpassed the United States. I think in 2-3 years, China will, with no debate, will be the number one market. So a lot has changed in the short span of 10 years. And yet alone, there is still a lot of opportunity for you as a direct seller, for companies who are basically operating here in terms of UAE itself and the region. And I have never seen a better environment. You know, sometimes we hear complaints about something being there and something not being there. For example, a few years ago, when we didn't have a clear legislation, though government was always supportive and proactive in telling we welcome direct selling companies and helped us in any means we needed. People said, you know, we really want to see legislation and make sure direct selling is legal. And so there has been always something, or myself, I always wished for a proper structure for the Direct Selling Association to basically exist and thrive on, and this happened in 2012. But But nevertheless, if you look at the opportunities here and what we have at hand, it's incomparable to many regions and many markets. So look at this opportunity in a very serious manner. I think we are the flag barriers, and we are basically the pioneers. So pioneers necessarily don't feel the opportunity, basically don't feel the sensation. They just have a vision, because numbers don't support them. But today, I think we're just at the beginning stages. And I think we might have this discussion in another 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, and hopefully we'll all be around. And I am very optimistic that we're going to look at the graphs and the numbers and say, oh my God, what a journey this was. So I would like to end by again thanking Ali, who's been in the helm significantly and took our direct selling association basically from a name on a paper to a global player, to be very much respected by the word federation and the greater community, which we have had the pleasure to be interacting with them and be a member of the federation, and take the association to be a silver member, which is a huge achievement for a young association in a short period of time. You'll hear from Ali right here, and I don't want to take your time telling you about him, and Mr. Salim, who's been with us from the beginning. So I could say the journey started with him and his esteemed company and his colleagues. And Mr. Omar, who in this recent few years basically took us to a new height. And him and I know that he basically made personal sacrifices, both in terms of his time and his pure heart in wanting an association to grow. You know, associations are there to be not seen. We're very much like your wireless network that you connect to and you enjoy, but you don't see, and you don't basically need to bother what happens in the background. So association does a lot in the background for the smooth operation of direct selling companies, and basically relation between the industry and stakeholders such as government, media, and so on and so forth. But without Mr. Omar, the last few years wouldn't be possible. So enjoy the rest of the webinar. It's been a pleasure, and I'm glad to have been around to see this day, and look forward to meeting you face to face and in person. Marina, would you take over from me? Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your presence today, and of course, the valuable insights you provided us with.
Pleasure.
My takeaway is that it is so true that we need to see the full half of the glass all the time. This is the real skill which entrepreneurs in our industry should practice daily. Very motivating. Thank you so much. Let us move further in our today's webinar and get a more detailed approach on DSA's presence and ecosystem. For this, I would like to take the opportunity to introduce Ali Shabdar, who is currently our General Secretary, to explain the importance of being connected as associations in a global environment. Prior to joining the association in 2015, Ali has built a successful career as a business leader and advisor, having gained extensive experience and expertise in business processes, government relations, policies and procedures, and marketing across a number of industries. Ali sits on the board of directors of the WFDSA and holds the position of Association Advisory Council and also the WFDSA Advocacy Committee, helping the DSA UAE to grow in the MENA region, and remains an active contributor to the global direct selling community. Welcome with us today, Mr. Ali, and over to you.
Good evening, everybody. There was a pause in me connecting. Thanks for waiting. Thank you so much, Marina, and thanks a lot, Pouria, for that amazing introduction, taking us through the whole history of DSA. I hope everybody appreciates this long way that the association has come, and now we got the torch and we're bearing it, we're carrying it with us, and we will hand it over to the future generations. Let us quickly move to the next section where we talk about the ecosystem, as was mentioned, and the whole global network of direct selling associations. We often face the question of, is this association the only one in the region? Is it the only one in the world? There are people who know about other associations or how these things work, and there are people who would like to know more about it. But I want to open the discussion with actually asking you and see how many of us today present in this meeting know about other associations, have encountered them in their home countries and interacted with them. Let me run the first poll question and see where we are with this today. So the ribbon is there. You can start answering the questions. So again, the question is, have you heard or know any of other DSAs? Yes, only in the UAE. I know the ones worldwide, and I never heard about them. So out of more than 60 people present today, we see that we have 20% and 20 people answered. And a majority of the respondents so far acknowledge that they know about other DSAs. This is quite heartwarming. I believe we have a lot of leaders today, and you guys, ladies and gentlemen, you have done business in your home countries, either from UAE or other countries, and you know these. Wonderful. So actually, this made my job easier. We are actually one of the 64 and growing associations globally who operate under the umbrella of World Federation of Direct Selling Associations, or WFDSA. WFDSA guides all of us globally with code of ethics and practice and standards defined in a global level to make sure that the industry that we all love and cherish stays at the top of standards and people actually can enjoy it the best of their abilities. These are some of the, I think these are actually all of the DSAs that are a member of WFDSA, and some of them go back to 100 years ago. The US DSA is probably the oldest, and we have the French DSA, more than 50 years old. I was so fortunate to attend the 50th anniversary. Korean DSA, Malaysian DSA, and these are our teachers and our role models and our mentors. We get to see these guys every year in different events around the world. We had the pleasure of actually hosting them back in 2017. I'll show you a glimpse of it. Probably some of you even joined us. And there is such a strong network and relationship and friendship between us. And this is only because we want to serve the global community as much as we can. Going back to WFDSA, I really encourage you to log on to the website, read the news, learn more about the organization, and see how in a global level we operate. I have the pleasure of sitting at the board and also being a part of the Advocacy and Advisory Committee and Council, and we work on elevating and promoting the industry in a global level. So as Marina mentioned a while back, you can look at the handout section on the left side of your screen and download the annual report of WFDSA. That's from 2019. The 2020 report is actually around the corner. We'll publish it and we'll share it with you. The report shows the staggering size, the scale, and the scope of the industry that you're a part of. So this makes us very proud that direct sellers are representing an industry that is massively popular and actually improving every single day. Moving on with another question, I just want to ask how many of us today know about WFDSA? I gave you an intro. I just wanted to know if you knew about the WFDSA before today's session. Let's have a look. Okay. So far, it's a tie between yes, I know, and never heard of them. All right. Wonderful. So let me show you the results. More than half of the attendees participated. Yeah, it's almost a tie between knowing and not knowing about WFDSA. Again, you can log on to the website and either ask us questions about it. There are annual events that are happening. And also, we were due to attend the World Congress in Thailand this year, which unfortunately due to the pandemic was postponed to the next year. Dubai was one of the contenders. We really appreciate the effort that the government of Dubai put in place, and we will to prepare the presentation for us, and we're confident that the next time we will bring the World Congress of WFDSA to Dubai. Quickly, let's move on. Now, let's look at the relationship of us within the ecosystem. How we work with local, regional, and global ecosystem. We looked at WFDSA and we looked at other DSAs. There's a very close bond between us and there's an open line of communication. Coming back to the region, we work across the MENA region. Yes, our jurisdiction is officially within the UAE. However, we are the only acknowledged and approved DSA in the whole Middle East and North Africa by the WFDSA. So if a company needs guidance or help, we'll be more than happy to help them across the region. Coming back to the UAE itself, we are blessed to have been acknowledged by the DED a few years ago, thanks to Puria and the other founders' effort. We are licensed officially under Dubai Association Center, which works under the Dubai Chamber, and also Dubai Tourism Department, DTCM. They're calling it Dubai Tourism nowadays. We actually received an award for contributing to the mission of the city in terms of bringing business tourists, contributing to the meeting space within the city. We appreciate that acknowledgement. Within our association itself, of course, we are supporting our members. You'll have a look at the list of our members. We have direct selling companies who are our members and also supplier members and partners who help us and help the direct selling members in different areas, logistics, technology, events, marketing, and so on and so forth. And of course, most importantly is the direct sellers that we support either directly or through their corresponding and respective companies. Now, talking about the events and how we contributed and how we connect the dots between this global ecosystem and bring everybody to the UAE, we organized our very first Middle East Direct Selling Forum back in 2017. It was massively acknowledged locally and internationally, and it was a huge success. We were planning to repeat it this year. Again, unfortunately, we have to push it to the next year. We'll be more prepared for that. Let me show you an overview in case you missed it a couple of years ago. Let me show you a quick video about what happened and what went on back then. Okay, yeah, as the residents or citizens of UAE could recognize some of the dignitaries who attended our conference. It was a full day conference. It was quite an amazing experience. We had around 30 dignitaries coming from different DSAs, the WFDSA itself, from the academia, from all over the place, South America, United States, Europe, and Asia. And it was such a good day. We will repeat it, and we hope that you can join us and be a part of it and help us grow the industry in the region. Moving on, let's quickly have a look at the scope of our mission and our activities. So our mission is to protect, serve, promote, and the effectiveness of the industry in the MENA region. That's our scope. And we do it with our global connections through the standards that we receive from WFDSA, continuous development programs that, again, we exchange with fellow DSAs. Then we help companies with products in terms of the ethics of products, what kind of products to be sold under the umbrella of direct selling, even helping companies with product registrations, guidelines, and so forth. We support and receive local support from government bodies and other authorities and entities within the region and within the country. Of course, the first level of our support goes to our members. We even also help them through our supplier members to make their meetings, incentive trips, conferences, and events, MICE, more productive and unforgettable. Coming back to the most important area of our activities, ethics. We uphold and take care of the code of ethics. We are the custodians of the code of ethics. Mr. Salim will talk about it, so I won't get into more details, but this is our guiding principle. And of course, we help direct sellers and the companies if there is any issues and any complaints within the process. That's it from me, and I will hand it over back to Marina. Really, thank you so much for being with us so far, and I hope you can stay for the rest of the session. Marina, back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ali. Thank you for your presence today. Thank you for the worthy points and briefing us on such important mentions about our global presence. By playing the video, I think everyone got a bit excited to be again present in events. And I know we all miss those days, the enthusiasm, the happiness shared in all these direct selling events. And we have the honor to welcome the chairman of our association to address us several very important points on our mission, on region expansion, and also our valuable members. Mr. Omar Al Masri is currently the chairman of the DSA UAE, and as a successful entrepreneur, he has been supporting direct selling companies for the past 7 years. Prior to contributing to our organization, Omar has built a successful career in the Middle East as a general manager, and he has been running a big group of companies in the region, having accomplished significant expertise in profitable business growth. Omar obtained his experience in various fields, and his background provides the organization with extensive support in company setup, product registration, import processes, distributors, and customer support. Mr. Omar believes that DSA is the proper platform for our industry and oversees the direct selling industry in the entire region. He is confident that DSA is the only legitimate link between direct selling companies, distributors, and the government in each and every country. Please meet our DSA UAE chairman, Mr. Omar Al Masri. Thank you, and over to you now.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to welcome all of you to our first webinar for the DSA UAE and Middle East. We were planning to have a big live event, but as all of you know, due to the pandemic, we just postponed all our plans. So I will take some time to give you some information about DSA UAE and what is our plans and about our members in the DSA UAE. So as Mr. Pouria said, that the idea of the DSA started a long time back, and I can say that Mr. Pouria was the one who put the foundation stone for the direct selling industry in the region or in the UAE. And in 2016, we were approved officially by the official legal authorities in the UAE. We are very blessed that we are living in UAE, the country that always have plans for the next 30 years, and the government who understand all the opportunities, and that's why they quickly understand what is behind this industry and what is the future of this industry, and that's why they approved the direct selling association under the umbrella of Dubai Association Center and Chamber of Commerce. And that was a dream, a big dream that came true. We were chasing this dream for a long time, and then finally it came through in 2016 as an official DSA license by the government. And we started our second journey, if I can say, after what Mr. Purya have done for the last 10 years. So DSA is not a normal trade license or any license that you can issue in a short time, like in 1 day or in 1 hour. The DSA is a non-profit organization that needs a lot of approvals and a lot of investigations and a lot of documents to be presented to the government, and that's why it took a lot of time to get it approved by the governments. And now we are working with all the local authorities. We appreciate what they are doing. They appreciate what we are doing, and we're always in contact with them. This is a short briefing about how DSA started, and the team is a very professional team. I would like to appreciate what they are doing till now. Mr. Ali, Mr. Salim, and Ms. Marina, and Mr. Purya. They are all entrepreneurs, and when we say that we are a non-profit organization, it means that everyone is an entrepreneur. They believe in the industry, they believe in serving many people, they believe in helping everyone, and they are giving a lot of time and efforts. So I would like to thank them, all of them, for all what they are doing. So then, and our mission is to guide and monitor the member companies in the DSA and help them to be on the right track, and always we are always encouraging people to work in an ethical way and follow the rules of the Direct Selling Association. So we have many members in the DSA UAE, and all of them are legal. All of them are working under the umbrella of the DSA, and we have a lot of conditions for the companies to be in the DSA. I will talk about it later. But all what I can say that all the members in the DSA UAE are all legal, and they are following all the compliance and the code of ethics and code of practice. And we are always in contact with them. And if there is anything that to be fixed, we are always asking them to fix it. So this is the main things that I want everyone to know about it. So anyone who want to work with any of these companies, he can rest assured that this is a legitimate company and it is registered under the DSA UAE. I'll tell you why, and in a short time you will know why. So what I want to say is that the DSA is playing the role of monitoring and guiding these companies. So the second thing is our plans for the region was still very big, but we were planning to have more DSAs in the region, especially in Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, everywhere. We want to have DSAs everywhere in the region, and we have been working on a Saudi DSA with my business partner, Mr. Faisal Al Hindi, who was helping us in doing this, and he is still, and I think we're gonna get it done soon. We're supposed to get it back like in February, but due to the COVID issue, it was a little bit, there was a little bit delay. So we hope that we can get it very soon, and we will announce it. And we are working on 2 more countries. We will announce it later. So this is all about our plan for the DSA Middle East. Now let's talk about members' legality and how we consider a company as a member. So the first of all, anyone who wants to be a member with the DSA, UAE, and Middle East, they have to have a company based in this region, and they have to have a trade license or a license issued by the official authority, local authority, and they have to have an office and warehouse. So when we say office and warehouse, we are talking about a legal entity, and we are talking about the availability of products, which is one of the most important conditions to consider anyone to be a part of the DSA UAE. The second thing is the product registration. It's not only availability of the products, we need the products to be registered either in the municipality or the Ministry of Health, depends on the product's category. And then the compensation plan. The compensation plan of any company who wants to be a member with the DSA UAE should be overviewed and checked by the board of the DSA, then approved. So once we approve the compensation plan, then we move to the next step. After the compensation plan, we just have to look on the refund policy, which is one of the requirements for each and every company that will be a member with the DSA UAE. So the refund policy should be there. Then if there is a lot of requirements that they have to follow in order to remain a member with the DSA, is that they have to follow the rules, they have to follow the code of ethics, the code of practice, and addressing complaints, which is very, very important, because we are receiving, as DSA UAE, we are receiving a lot of inquiries, questions, complaints, and we are addressing all these complaints or questions to the companies, and we're asking them to solve any issue or reply any question about their products, about their legality, about their license, about everything. So we are working with them on daily basis, I can say on daily basis, just to maintain a good relation between the customers or the distributors and the companies, the member companies. So this industry, for the last 10 years, as Puriya said, started to grow in the Middle East, and especially in some countries in the Gulf region. During the last 5 months, people realized how powerful is this industry, what this industry can do for them, what kind of problems this industry can solve, how it can change the lives of millions of people, because there is more than 120 or 130 million members working in this industry worldwide. The volume of this industry is growing very, very fast, and it's crossing like $300 billion a year. So what we are expecting for the Middle East region is this market is growing on daily and monthly basis. I am expecting that in the next 2-3 years, people will know exactly the power of this industry. People will know exactly how much they can rely on this industry, and people will understand how it works and how it will help them to change their life and how it will help the next generation. So this is a briefing about the DSA. And I would like to thank every one of you who attend this webinar, and I hope to see you very soon. Thank you very much. I will hand it over to Marina. Can you take over, Marina?
Sure, Mr. Omar. Thank you so much for addressing such important features available for our members and valuable insights that we all have been provided with. We all know how complex the industry is now and how important it is to know more about our present market. Before moving forward, I would like to our next speaker, I would like to invite you to answer the fourth poll question, addressing the impact you think DSA has in our region. Again, click on the green ribbon for answering this question, and we'll share the results shortly. Okay, the results are coming in. So you have the option of choosing educating the market about ethical and professional direct selling practices. The results are coming in. Okay. Okay, let's show the results to everyone. Thank you so much for answering. So next we'll move further into our agenda, where we will discuss about ethics and practices with Mr. Salim Shajir, currently the DSA Vice Chairman. Along with the other board members, Mr. Salim contributed to the presence of direct selling in the UAE since the beginning. He is currently managing more than 10 countries across MENA region, and his vision is to be an integral part of the collective movement and to make this recession-proof industry popularized in the Middle East region. Today, we will touch on the code of ethics, which is the most important tool we have for our industry and our guiding principle. Thank you for your presence, Mr. Salim, and over to you. Great, we can see you now. We can see you and we can hear you. Thank you so much, Mr. Salim.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone, once again. Actually, sorry for the technical glitches earlier. See, I was keep on talking about the code of ethics. And then later on only, I came to know that nobody was listening. So the same thing happens with code of ethics always. Because companies and associations always preach code of ethics. And with the assumption that people are listening. But it never happens, you know. So let's come back to the topic, the code of ethics. Direct selling industry, you all are prominent leaders of different direct selling companies. Many a times we all face a problem that most of the times our industry is being targeted with a lot of criticism. Actually, in fact, it's not because of the wrongdoing of different companies or different direct sellers. Maybe the wrongdoing of a single company or rather a single direct seller can tamper the reputation of the whole industry. So being the prominent leaders, actually it's essential that each one of you should be knowledgeable about the code of ethics of Direct Selling Association. And we all are responsible to protect the good image of our industry because we all are depending on this industry a lot. So, what is code of ethics? In simple terms, it's what to do and what not to do. So DSA UAE Code of Ethics is being formulated in consistent with the Code of Ethics proposed by WFDSA, the World Federation of Direct Selling Association. So it's a set of guidelines which regulates the behavior and actions of every party involved in this industry. Which all are the parties involved in this industry? One is direct selling companies. The second one is direct sellers. The third one of the most important part is consumers, normal consumers who does not know anything about direct selling or this industry. And the fourth one is the individual complaint raisers and the DSA, Direct Selling Associations Board. So Code of Ethics, it clearly describes the interaction, what sort of interaction should be taken place between these parties. For example, how a direct selling company should behave and interact with its existing direct sellers and prospects. And the second one, how a direct seller should behave and interact with his or her consumers. And the third one, the parties involved are companies. How companies should behave between themselves, how the companies should interact between themselves. So let me go to the slide. See, here you can see the purpose of Code of Ethics. First of all, it ensures an ethical marketplace. An ethical marketplace in the sense that each and every party involved in the industry will be following a proper direction, a proper ethical operation if they are following the Code of Ethics laid out by Direct Selling Association. And then it protects different parties involved in this industry. First of all, it protects the consumers from the unethical practices of direct sellers. Being experienced leaders in this industry, you all know that this happens. That means many direct sellers are taking their consumers for a ride. So as per the Code of Ethics, it should not be done. I'll just give you a few examples of that portion of Code of Ethics, Direct Selling Association's Code of Ethics, which refers about the behavior of a direct seller. For example, every direct seller, no matter whichever company he or she belongs to, should operate within the laws and regulations of the country. First of all, if you're operating in UAE, you need to follow the rules and regulations of UAE, first of all. And if you're operating in Saudi Arabia, you need to follow the rules and regulations of Saudi Arabia. And the second thing, you're not supposed to give false claims about the standard of the product, about the quality of the product, or you're not supposed to give any wrong testimonials, or you should not be claiming something which is wrong about the performance of the product, or about the origin of the product, or basically the need of the product. If a person does not need a product, you should not attach an unnecessary need on that product and try to sell that. It's against the Code of Ethics of Direct Selling Association. And the second thing, you have to identify, and you have to clearly identify yourself. You have to clearly introduce yourself when you are approaching a consumer. For example, there are many ads which we are seeing nowadays saying that if you require a job, call this number. When we call that number, we can identify that that person is a direct seller representing a direct selling company. It should not be done. For example, if you are trying to represent a direct selling company, be confident about that and represent that company with all true colors. Don't be shy that to introduce yourself as a direct seller and you're representing a direct selling company. So people will take it for granted when you are telling something. For example, if you're telling, if you need job, come with me, and you are taking them to a direct selling company. So the people are intelligent. They will identify that this person is a direct seller, and because of his false promise as a job, I have wasted my time. So he will be having wrong feelings about you, and he will be having wrong feelings about the industry. And you're not supposed to offer consumers anything which is not inaccurate about the delivery time, about the after-sales service, about the terms of guarantee. You're not supposed to bluff. Whatever your company proclaims, you need to tell that only. And when it comes to the case of product claims, you can talk about what company claiming about the product, not about that. For example, when it comes to the case of a particular product, you can talk about what is mentioned on the label and what are the claims given by the company, because those are authorized claims. Apart from that, you are not supposed to induce customers by telling wrong claims. And about the income, that's something which we all know. For example, if you are getting 500 dirham from a direct selling company, when you're approaching a consumer, you have to reveal that you're getting 500 dirham. You're not supposed to reveal like, you're not supposed to claim like you're getting 5,000 or 50,000 or 500,000. If you're getting something from direct selling company, you have to, about your income, you have to have the proper claim. If you're giving a wrong claim about your income, then that is against the Direct Selling Association's Code of Ethics. Then the second thing, it protects the direct seller from the unethical practices of direct selling company which he or she represents. This also happens. Certain times, some direct sellers are being deceived or cheated by the company. So the Code of Ethics rightly protects the direct sellers from the wrongdoings of direct selling companies. For example, a company should not teach something which is wrong to the members. And it should not give any false claims about the product and things like that to the direct sellers, because it will be repeated further to the consumer by the direct seller. And they should not mislead the direct sellers with wrong promises about the income that they can earn. If your marketing plan is strong enough, then any direct seller, any efficient direct seller can earn out of that. But you, being the part of the management of the company, you're not supposed to give any wrong promises or wrong dreams to the direct sellers. That will be against the Code of Ethics of Direct Selling Association. And the company should prohibit direct sellers from marketing or requiring the purchase of any material that are inconsistent with company policies and procedures. A company, each and every company should be having a watchdog in order to monitor what is being done by direct sellers. If the wrongdoings are done by direct sellers of a company, the blame is not only on the head of direct seller, it's on the head of the company also. Because direct seller may not be knowing that what he or she is doing is wrong. So the company should monitor that as well. Then it protects, the Code of Ethics protects direct selling companies from the unethical practices of other companies. This is another thing. For example, a company or direct seller should not lure or induce or attract other direct selling companies' members by telling some hidden promises or some income promises or something like that. If you're doing the direct selling business with a company, concentrate on your business and concentrate on your prospects. Don't try to lure direct sellers from other companies, because it spoils the relation between the companies in the industry. So the Code of Ethics have really pointed out as how a direct selling company should behave with other direct selling companies. So in totality, it gives a ethical direction for all the parties involved. So the Code of Ethics, it protects the industry. Then one most important feature of Code of Ethics, purpose of Code of Ethics, is to set the industry standards. What is industry standard? Code of Ethics is the one which establishes the industry standards. It helps to protect the industry from the intrusion of illegitimate companies. Illegitimate company or fraudulent direct selling companies can never follow the Code of Ethics laid out by Direct Selling Association UAE. Every time, being experienced direct sellers, all of us are having doubt. How can we identify a legitimate company, or how can we differentiate a legitimate company and an illegitimate company? If you go to the DSA UAE website, you can see this diagram, which easily identify legitimate direct selling business. Please watch this slide very carefully, because this will be a very important knowledge for an experienced direct seller. In order to judge whether a company is legitimate or illegitimate, these 8 questions are enough. You need to ask these 8 questions to the company. If the answer of all the 8 questions are yes, then you can assure that this is a legitimate direct selling company. So I'll just read out the questions for you. The first question, is there a product? The basic thing, there should be a product for the company. And the second thing, are commissions paid on sale of products and not on registration or entry fees? See, the recruitment is only a portion. The main thing, the main income should run out by the sales of products. Every legitimate company will be having this process keep on going. And the third thing is the intent to sell a product or product, not a position. Is the intent is to sell a product, not a position. For example, there are companies which does not concentrate on product selling. Their main concentration is on position grabbing. That is not a legitimate direct selling company. Your income will, there is no magic in direct selling, I'm telling you. That your income will keep on rolling out when the products are being sold out under your membership number. There is no other way. If the companies are telling no need to sell the products, only bring people and recruit people, then that is wrong. That is against the code of ethics of the company, and that is not a feature of a legitimate direct selling company. And the fourth one, is there no direct correlation between the number of recruits and compensation? There should not be any relation between the number of recruits and your compensation. If any company is giving you compensation based on number of recruits, then that is not a legitimate direct selling company. And the fifth one, if recruitment were to be stopped today, will the participants still make money? For example, every time, every day, you cannot keep on recruiting people. You are doing this for a financial freedom. You are doing this for your retirement income. So during your retirement, if you don't keep on bringing people, if you're not getting the income, then that's not your effort is waste. That's not a legitimate direct selling company. At a given point of time, if you stop recruitment, still the income for your previous recruitment should be kept on coming. Then only that will become a legitimate direct selling company. Then the sixth one is a reasonable product return policy. Every rule following direct selling company will be having a buyback policy. If a person does not require the products within a stipulated period of time, he or she can give back the product. This buyback policy, as per the directive of WFDSA, it's one of the important features of code of ethics also. There should be a buyback policy for a legitimate direct selling company. If there is no buyback policy, that's not a legitimate direct selling company. And the seventh one, do products have fair market value? See, another thing, another wrong interpretation about our industry. The prices are being hiked up and the bonuses are given. No. Every legitimate direct selling company, if you compare the product value with the market value of the similar kind of product, it will be more or less similar. It could be a little up, little low, but still it would be more or less similar. You're not supposed to sell a cup of coffee for 500 dirham. You know, that's not the standard. It should be having fair market value, the products of the legitimate direct selling company. And the last one, is there a compelling reason to buy? If there is no compelling reason to buy the products of a direct selling company, then what's the point in selling it? At the end of the day, you will be indirectly deceiving the consumers. That should not be done. So all these 8 questions you should ask to the company. If the answer is yes, you're representing a legitimate direct selling company. So these are the industry standards. This also comes as a part of code of ethics. And one main thing which I want to tell about the code of ethics: don't disturb consumers. Many direct sellers are spoiling the image of the industry by keep on persisting on people to buy the product, even if they don't want to buy, or even if they don't want to listen to your presentation. You keep on pushing, and at the end of the day, you are spoiling the image of the industry as a whole, not only your image. So if a person does not need the product, don't push much. Go to the next person. So in a nutshell, if your direct selling company is registered with DSA UAE, you can be assured of the fact that it's an ethical company, which comes under the purview of Code of Ethics laid out by WFDSA and DSA UAE. At any point of time, if you feel that a company or a direct seller is breaching this Code of Ethics, you have all the freedom to generate your complaint to the DSA UAE. You have facility. If you go to our website, you'll be having the facility to do that. So please take care about the Code of Ethics. Please make sure that you're following the Code of Ethics and your company is following the Code of Ethics, because we need to protect the good name of this beautiful industry, which can transform the lives of many people around the world. Thank you so much, Ms. Marina. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Salim, for all the points. Thank you. It was very well explained and advised. The Code of Ethics is and will remain the most important asset we all have in practicing network marketing. That's no doubt. We touch very important aspect of the rules that we need to follow in our industry and explain for everyone. So it's true, only together we can shape this into a more confident approach when it comes to practices in direct selling. This is why we highly encourage you to contact DSA UAE at any time. So moving forward to our website, where you can contact us, which in addition to your questions answered throughout the session and before moving out to our last part of the webinar, we would like to remind you about the resources that you have available on our website. The frequently asked questions, where you can all contribute with various questions. Anyone can address anything, any comments, suggestions, feedback. You also find the code of practices, our current member companies, and the process of filing a complaint procedure. So you need to invest some time reading, but it will clarify most of the inquiries that you might have. Again, we encourage everyone to contact us anytime for further suggestions or what you would like to see more on our website. Why not? And we can only shape this industry together as a community, so please don't be a stranger when it comes to approaching the DSA. We'll move to the Q&A session now. And we reach the final point in our presentation, and I would like to invite you to address your questions live to our industry experts, as promised. You have to click on the left side of the screen on the question tab, and according to the topic you are interested in, we'll assign your inquiry to one of our speakers. Let us check the questions, and if you have no questions, this means we did cover all the points that we were meant to be covered today. Let us see the questions we have. Mr. Ali, would you like to take over?
Well, sure. Thank you so much, Marina. Thank you so much for all the attendees staying up probably quite late wherever you're coming from. I was looking at the list of attendees, and we have presence from many countries, mostly from UAE, but some other countries as well. And we really appreciate your presence today. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Marina for conducting this session. Great topic, Mr. Salim. You went in depth and you talked about the most important area of our business. Mr. Omar, I thank you a lot to talk about the process that we meticulously do to make sure that the industry is up and running, the connections that we have, and the important job that we do to uphold the industry. And of course, Puriya, thank you so much for starting this whole journey and inviting us to be a part of it. So now, as Marina said, we are ready for questions. I'm going to have a quick look. Well, most of the questions are just Mr. Salim's fan club, thanking him. Yeah, and let's start from the last one. Okay, Muhammad Ghani. This is actually addressed to Puria. Where do you see the direct selling industry in Gulf and in the world in the 5 years from now? Puria, over to you. Grab the mic.
Ali, was the question, how do we see in the Gulf? Did I get that right?
I repeat it. Where do you see the direct selling industry in the Gulf and in the world 5 years from now?
Well, allow me to answer the first part because it's easier predictable relatively, and it more relates to our subject and our work. I think it's very much in our grasp and in our control, and because we are in a very kind of beginning stages, though companies like, for example, DXN been around more than a decade here in Dubai, and the industry has been around for so many years. But I still think we are on a basically beginning steps or stages. So we all have this opportunity to impact and control and shape the future. When something is too big and difficult to control, it's not really something few people can impact. But I think we all have the power, knowing Mr. Ghani himself, how much he has been contributing to the education and expansion of the industry and the good deeds and trainings. I think if really a handful of people get together and decide, they can shape the future of the industry. I do personally see direct selling, network marketing, MLM doing really, really well. All the indications are in favor of the industry's growth. We have a very, very supportive government body. I think more than what we could hope for. Usually direct selling, it relates to one or two or few government entity. For example, it relates to ministries of economy or chamber of commerce. We are very lucky that the direct selling industry is known and is supported by the likes of DED, Chamber of Commerce, Ministry of Economy, even Dubai Tourism, because it impacts Dubai's narrative or vision for expanding its reach. So I couldn't hope for more. I don't think there's more we could hope for. We have really a good foundation of good companies here, and we have a really, really well trained and well basically well-wishers of direct selling crowd here, Mr. Ghani being one of those. So we have basically all the right elements. I would be very surprised if the direct selling and network marketing does not grow at the rate of 20 to 40% on an annual basis. But having said that, because we are on a nascent stages, we could also double or triple the revenue, the growth, the number of direct sellers in the region. And that's very much at grasp. So it's basically very positive, my personal opinion. You have a very well-established and recognized direct selling association. You have a very active board, which usually is not the case because the associations who grow older, they become more complex and I mean, I don't think this is the right word, but for the lack of better word, somehow less effective in terms of helping companies or distributor grow. But we're at the very optimum stage, basically, let's say. So I do see the direct selling industry very positive in terms of growth. But having said that, I think we all play a very, very important role because still the industry is very fragile. It's not been around for 50 years or 100 years like US, and it's not very huge like China. It hadn't had the massive rapid growth like China. It's also very fragile, and I think we all play a very important role in benefiting from its positive position, and at the same time protecting it. I hope this answered the question. Thank you.
Thanks, Puriya. Thanks a lot. I saw an interesting question. Now there are a lot of interesting questions coming in. Is there, and I'll take this one, I'm excited about it. Is there any educational program for direct sellers run by DSA UAE? Absolutely, we're working on it. This is the first webinar we have. We are taking the opportunity of digitalization of our training programs. At the end of this session, you will have a survey. We are actually asking you if you want to be a part of our educational programs coming for you in the coming months. Please do answer the survey. We need your opinion about which topics are the most important topics for you. From today's responses, I feel that ethics, and thankfully everybody knows about it, ethics is such an important topic, so we could focus on that. We will also provide certification programs. So stay tuned to DSA, stay in touch, and we'll give you some really good news about it. There is another question. What about DSA in Lebanon? It's a great question. I'll ask Mr. Omar Al-Masri, our chairman, to take that question about the prospect of a DSA in Lebanon. Sir?
Yes. DSA Lebanon, we already started working on DSA Lebanon since last year, 2019, and we supposed to have something by January or February, but again, due to the pandemic situation, everything was delayed, and I hope that by the end of this summer, after the COVID finished, hopefully we're gonna start again and we're gonna get it done soon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, as Mr. Omar mentioned during his session as well, expansion is on the top of our agenda. Mr. Omar is actually heading this conversation in a number of countries, and we owe gratitude to him, and Mr. Salim is also supporting him. So again, stay tuned for some good news in terms of expansion. And expansion also helps us getting up in the ranks with the World Federation and gain respect for the Middle East and North Africa region, and show how prosperous and active and dynamic the direct selling community is in this amazing region. There was another question from Antonio. I might need help interpreting the question. Where should be the ethical place to do the presentation of distributors' offers? Is it okay to do it outside, or should it be in the respective office only? This is an open question, Mr. Omar, Mr. Salim, Puriya, if you like to take it up. So the question is, what is the ethical place to do the presentation?
Mr. Ali, I would like to take that question. Huh?
Please do, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Antonio, that's actually a very good question. Ethical place is a place where we are not creating any disturbance. For example, it could be, as you all know, it's not an office-based business. You can do your presentation anywhere, even outside in a mall, in a coffee shop, in a restaurant, in other people's home. But at the end of the day, you are not supposed to disturb others. For example, if you're doing it in a shopping mall, you're not blindly going to each and every person and tell them, I have got a business, I have got a business. This creates problem. If you have a fixed appointment with a person, go with that person to a restaurant and discuss with him without creating any disturbance for others, then that is ethical. Any other sort of presentation which creates disturbance for the people who are around you or the person who is listening to the presentation, if the disturbance is created, that will become unethical. That's it, Mr. Ali.
Thank you so much, sir. There was also a question about legitimacy of one of our members. I'll give a very general answer. Every single member company that is a member of DSA UAE is legitimate, approved, and compliant with not only with our code of ethics and our policies and procedures, but also with the law of the land. So as Mr. Omar explained, the way we approve a member through that very carefully done process, we look at the government documentation, so the trade license, commercial license, permits for every single product, which is such a time-consuming process, by the way, for each company to get their products approved. Your favorite companies, they have tens of different products. This takes a lot of time for the authorities to approve it, quite also expensive process. So short answer, every single member of the DSA UAE is legal, legitimate, and they're doing good business in the country. You can also look at their membership in other countries and have more peace of mind working with any of our members. Outside the circle, we cannot promise. We are working very closely with the authorities, with the community, looking at the companies who are, for whatever reason, not our member. And either if they're good, we encourage them to become our members. And if they don't pass our tests, we'll just, we won't let them in. I hope this answers the question. So let's see. If anybody wants to contribute to that answer as well, please, the microphone is open. There's a question about documents in Arabic. Well, I let the man who has been driving this actually to answer that. Mr. Omar.
Yes, Mr. Ali. I mean, to answer this question, we are working on the Arabic translation for most of the important things that people should know. And we already started with the Code of Ethics. It's already translated, but we are still reviewing some terminologies and some words. And I think this the version will come live in a very short time. And the rest of the documents are under process. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There is a comment from Mr. Mujahid Bangash, apologies if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, about training programs, and they're talking about Mr. Muhammad Ghani. We would love to have them on board for our future programs. We'll get in touch with Mr. Ghani, and we'll keep you up to date about, upcoming sessions and different programs that we have. Another question, do you see any happy charts to open to direct selling association in the kingdom? I believe the kingdom, well, I interpret it's Saudi Arabia. It could be Kingdom of Bahrain as well, but I believe that it's the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia under the umbrella of our association. Yes, the plans are to open a DSA in Saudi Arabia. As I mentioned, Mr. Omar and Mr. Salim are spearheading that effort. It's a time-consuming effort, and we are very thankful, actually, that in Saudi Arabia, due to Vision 2030, there's a lot of good conversations happening in the macro level, and direct selling could have such positive socioeconomic impact in the economy of the country. The opportunities to have, of course, a better education, side income, entrepreneurship. It's such a good platform. And we will definitely push our message to the authorities in Saudi Arabia and across the Gulf to make sure new DSAs are opened and we collaborate very closely with them. Another question. How far DSA is protecting or supporting the recognized members to those that are not legal, which are open and doing their activities, even not recognized? So I believe members versus non-members. Anybody wants to take that question? I don't want to hog the mic.
Mr. Ali, I think you can go ahead with the answer.
For sure. Well, a big part of protection comes with raising awareness and education. We emphasized a lot on our connection with the local authorities, Dubai Chamber, and they're overseeing every single activity that we have. And they know who is a member and who is not a member. The local government is keeping a list of companies who are active, and they're also questioning why they are not a member of the DSA. In the future, we will make this mandatory, but it will take time because these are legal processes. Currently, the biggest way we protect is that we have a list of members who are approved, and the rest of them could be questionable, may not be questionable. However, if you know a member of another company who is not listed, or if you know a company that is not doing legitimate business, do let us know. You're the leaders, you're our friends, you're the people on the field, in the field, on ground, and even if we miss something, do let us know, and we will definitely take necessary action through the DSA and through the authorities. And even if we need to report any illegitimate activity, we will do so. I hope this answers your question. Of course, our website has the question box. You can leave your comments and questions at any time. We are quite responsive, thanks to Marina, who's taking care of the support as well. I would like to conclude the evening. We are running out of time. We really, really appreciate everybody's warm attendance and your presence tonight with us. Stay tuned. We'll come back again with more detailed training programs and more exciting news for you. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening.
Thank you. It was indeed a pleasure and an opportunity for everyone today to have interacted with our board and the founders of what we know today as the unique voice for our community in direct selling. We have reached the end of our webinar. We'd like to thank you so much for today's virtual presence and for your time, and also many thanks to our board presence and for making this webinar possible. We hope you find the present webinar informative. We have answered some of your concerns or inquiries, and for sure we will work together to set further sessions in the future. You can contact us anytime at info@dsauae.ae. Don't forget to visit our website and also connect through our social media platforms. Thank you, stay safe everyone, and have a great evening. Thank you so much.